This is KentuckyGoodVibes.com, Good Vibes Magazine. I will be interviewing Mr. Lenny Williams, musical legend, um, better known for the song "Cause I Love You." Hopefully, he'll sing something for us towards the end. But we're going to start the interview process at this moment in time. Who is Mr. Lenny Williams?
Hey, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
Who am I?
Yes, sir.
I'd say the easiest answer is I'm Leonard and Mildred Williams' son. Yes, right. And that's honor in itself. I had good parents. Just a ordinary guy. That has some dreams and aspirations. Or still, I don't say has. Had and has, and just trying to realize them. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So when and how did you get started in the music industry, and who was your inspiration?
Well, getting started in the music industry, I used to go to talent show every Thursday night when I was in college,
Mhm.
and I'd go over there and win that little $25. And then one night I happened to be there, and somebody asked me if I wanted to make a record, and sure enough, I said yes, and just started on my journey. My inspiration probably was Sam Cooke. He was who person that I really liked. Because I grew up in church, and I saw him. Started doing. Stop singing gospel music and singing secular music, and I said well, I'd like to do that, and just kind of watched his journey, and tried to follow in his footsteps.
Okay, so did you get the 25?
Oh yeah, I wanted every week except for one week. Only one week I didn't win, and that was some lady. She was dancing, and
Uh-huh.
so if you won, then you had to do your repeat performance, right?
Uh,
And so all the guys wanted to see her dance again. I was feeling kind of bad, but then I read where Fred Astaire, the great dancer, said that when a woman is dancing in all her glory, no man can compete with her. So I said, if that's good enough for Fred Astaire, it's good enough for me. Yeah.
okay. So how did that make you feel?
What
Just
losing to?
her always dancing to your music, and you wanted the 25, and every week except for the
I
one time.
only lost to her once, right? I said she can't come back no more, right?
Okay.
So be looking for her. Tell her, she couldn't come in, right? Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what have you been up to over the years?
Oh, just doing my music, writing songs, traveling all over the country, traveling all over the world, performing, and just having a great time doing my music. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
raising family.
Okay. So how many kids do you have?
Seven, yes.
7 kids. Okay. Girls, boys, boys.
Five girls, two boys.
Okay. Now,
Mhm.
are they into music?
Both my sons can sing. One of the ministers, so he only sings, Christian music.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the other one does a little bit of both. And I do have one daughter that used to work for record label, before,
Okay.
and so. Uh, so those three are probably the main ones that involved with music. Yeah,
Okay. So do you, I think I saw where you had your own record label.
I do. Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I've had a few record labels. You just think of a name and put it up there, and then start doing business.
Mhm.
Mostly on my record labels, I just record myself. I
Okay.
haven't really recorded anyone else, just myself. And I do that primarily for business purposes. It helps with the taxes,
Mhm.
and it helps me to stay in control. I would, I have nothing against being with another record label if they were, if they were, invest.
Uh-huh.
But if it's just for somebody to do the stuff that I can do, I might as well just do it myself.
Of course. Okay. Okay. So, what was your inspiration to recording some of the greatest hits ever, including 1978's "Cause I Love You" and 1977's "Choosing You"? Like, what were you speaking on your life circumstances at the time, or from experience? What were you going through with "Cause I Love You"? What were
Uh-huh.
you going through?
I love you. I had a little young guy that used to write with me all the time, and we'd write every day. And
Okay.
so one day he came over and he wanted to write, and I was like, I didn't really feel like it. And he was like, why? And I was like, well, because me and my girl kind of got into it. And he was like, well, let's write about it. So we went and sat down at the piano, and boom, there's "Cause I Love You."
And it's still the greatest hit ever.
Well, that's what people say. Yeah, it still
Yes,
keeps on
it
giving. I tell you
is.
that song has been tremendous. For me, and it never was a single.
Mhm.
But it's really interesting that it's become my signature song, even though I've had songs that were on the charts and did really, really well, chart wise, so that song is kind of like the little engine that could, it just keeps on chugging.
Yeah.
And, and it's just been a tremendous asset for me. Choosing You, I was learning how to play guitar.
Okay.
And so I'd always be fooling around with guitar and I'd write songs with other people playing guitar, and that was the first song that I wrote by myself
Okay.
playing guitar. And so I was feeling pretty good, and, just feeling myself and like, traveling all across the world and just having a good time and, seeing beautiful ladies and say, ooh, I choose you. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. You said choose you. Okay. Okay. So, have you written songs for any other artists in the music industry?
Yeah, I wrote songs for Jose Feliciano. Trying to think who else. I wrote songs for Tower Power before I joined the band Tower Power. I've written for a few people, but a lot of people have sampled my music. So I would say that I've written songs that other people have recorded. After I recorded them. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So, what has been your most memorable moment as a singer, songwriter, and musician?
Well, one of my most memorable moments was I was at a function for Motown,
Hmm.
and Barry Gordy was there. And then after I finished, I was walking past him, and he reached out and he shook my hand and said, "You're great." And then I guess he thought that you could tell by the look in my face that I thought that he was just giving me kind of like a generic
Hmm.
a compliment, And then he kind of squeezed my hand and held me back, pulled me back, and said, "No, you're really great." And like he really, really meant it. And I was like, "Oh man, shoot, Barry Gordy saying I'm great." I had my chest stuck out and everything. I just said, he would have found me when I was 20 and told me that, hey, it would have been awesome. Yeah,
I bet you ran home and told everybody. He said I
I
was great.
definitely did. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, what do you enjoy most about being an artist, and have you faced any challenges along the way?
Well, the thing I enjoy most about being an artist is just getting a chance to interact with the audiences and with people. Sometimes after the show, going out and shaking hands, giving autographs and things like that, taking pictures. So just enjoying the fact that I could make somebody feel good, make somebody make their day better, make their weekend spectacular. And challenges along the way. I'm sure everybody's experienced some challenges. Just dealing with record companies or just dealing with just the ups and downs of the day in and day outs of music business, because it is the music business. And so, you have to concentrate on that as well. And so, trying to, do your due diligence. And so, music business sometimes can be cyclical.
Hmm.
We ride in the high wire and everything is great. And then, you get a slow period. And then how do you deal with that? Um, if record sales go down, or if a record company goes out of business, or if they drop you or whatever, so you deal with those things, but you just keep on, keep your nose to the grind and just keep moving forward.
Okay. Where all have you performed? Like I know there's many places you've performed, uh, but what was the place that you will never forget?
Oh,
For the
wow. Let's see.
experience.
Yeah, I performed so many places, all just about every state in
Okay.
the union and all overseas and everything like that. I'm just trying to think of some place that I never ever will forget. Uh, Let me tell you.
Uh-oh.
No, yeah, that's a
I
hard
took you
one.
back. I took you back.
Yeah, I have to go way back. Yeah, there's just been so many places, and each place, kind of has its own unique experiences. Different venues, different halls, and things like that.
Mhm.
But I'm just kind of thinking maybe
We can
maybe
come back to that if you want.
up to that one, right? Yeah.
Okay. Um, how would you describe your recently released new album, Fine? What was that creative process like?
Well, I just kind of started off just writing songs,
Hmm.
and I have a good friend, Derek Allen. They call him DOA. he just produced Kim's latest album, and he produced the latest album on Keith Sweat and Joe. And
Okay.
him and I write songs all the time. So we just write songs. And then I was like, wow, you know, we got 2 songs. And then I started doing some writing with a friend of mine, Levi Caesar, who was the guitar player and bass player for Prince in the New Power Generation band. And so started writing with him. I had about 6 or 7 songs. And I was like, oh, I got enough songs to, you know, make an album, you know, make a new CD.
Yeah.
And so it was just kind of like just writing songs and stacking them up, and then all of a sudden, okay, let's see if we can put this together and you know, and make a full length record out of it. And so that's kind of how that came to pass.
Okay. How do you feel about the impact of the internet versus when you first got started? Like, was it easier to get on back then versus now, or has the internet basically helped you along the way, like get recognized even more?
Well, the internet is, you know, I mean, it gives you instant access, you know, to so many different platforms, and
Hmm.
it also allows you to reach out and touch so many people, and people to, you know, get instant access to you. And so in a way, that's a good thing. You know, it's a you know, you can do your own publicity, your own promotion, and things of that nature if you adept at that. Uh, I guess the downside of the internet is that because it makes it so much easier,
Hmm.
that you get so many more people involved that want to do it. And
Okay.
so as a consequence, you've got, you know, maybe in the 70s or the 60s, you know, maybe people, you know, maybe let's just say there was 500 new records a week
Uh,
coming out. You know,
okay.
nowadays, you know, you might have, you know, 1,000 a day, you know, because you got people all over the world just get a computer, and there you go. You can make a record, and you can just put it right up instantly, you know. And so I think that it increases the competition,
Hmm.
but then that makes you want to be more creative. And I guess with competition comes excellence, or at least the the drive to be excellent,
Hmm.
and or to do better, because you know that you're competing, you know, against other people.
Yeah.
So you're competing for the dollar or for the fan, or however you want to look at it. And so so I think that the internet, it has its pros and cons, but I would imagine that it's more positive than negative. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because you could basically just put your name in the search bar, and then every video you didn't had in the past, or
Right. Yeah.
your name in Google, and we know all about you, your life story, what
Exactly.
you're doing
Sometimes too much. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
now. Okay. So, is music something that you've always wanted to do, or did you have plans to do something else before you started?
Well, I said music. I always wanted to sing. I mean, I love singing. I always wanted to do it.
Mhm.
Uh, as far as doing it for a living, I'm not sure that that was something that I thought about when I was real young. You know, nowadays, you know, you hear kids, you know, they see it and they say, "Oh, I want to make a lot of money," and so, or even with singing, with sports, you know, they do it a lot of times for the money. Where when I was growing up, I think people played baseball because they loved it. And then if you happen to be, you know, like Willie Mays, or you know, whomever, you know, or Barry Bonds, then you know, you made some money at it, and that was kind of like a byproduct of it. So I would say that for me, I just love singing. I sang in the church, I sang around the house, sang at school, and the glee clubs and the choir at school, and so I just loved it. And then after I got a certain age, then I realized that you could also make money singing too. So so I would say it was always something that I wanted to do, but it wasn't always something that I thought about doing at, you know, as far as making a living.
Mhm.
And then later on I did, and then you know, just try to do the best I could at making that work.
Okay. So, are those your records in the background?
Yeah, there's some gold records and platinum records and
Okay.
all of that. Yeah, yeah, it's just, yeah. So a few little things, and there's some records over here that I did. Yeah, yeah.
Cool. So that's your man cave.
Just say it's my little. I got a studio in here. Yeah, you
Okay.
know. And,
Okay.
yeah, so this is where I do my work. Yeah.
Okay. So, looking back on your career, if you had the chance to change anything about it, what would it be, or would you change anything?
I think if I were to change anything about the music business, I would have been taking a little more, few more chances,
Mhm.
and been a little less defensive because I grew up. I was a avid reader when I was a kid,
Mhm.
and I'd read Jet magazine and Ebony magazine, and I'd read so much about famous people, Sammy Davis Jr., Fats Domino, all the people I grew up listening to, um, Sam Cooke, how people lost their fortune. Sam Cooke didn't lose his fortune, but he lost his life, you know, uh, you know, uh, you know, through through bad business deals. People had bad business deals. They had, got involved with, substance abuse, whether it was drinking or too
Mhm.
much, or drugs, or bad managers or whatever. And so when I first started, I was very defensive. So I wouldn't let people get too close to me. I didn't socialize a lot because I just didn't want to, get involved in anything or get taken advantage of, and I never did really, maybe a couple times, but nothing, that was life shattering or anything like that. But I think had I taken a few more chances, maybe there would have been, some circumstances or some things some opportunities that I could have, taken advantage of. That would have been good for me. So, but that's about the only thing I can think of.
Okay. Okay. So, how do you feel about vocalists and rappers and others in the industry sampling your music? Like, are you okay with that, or do you like the new feel of music, or what do you think about that?
Yeah, I like music. I like what they're doing today. I mean, the new sounds and things like that.
Mhm.
And it's only so many things you can think about unless you sing about something that wasn't invented. I mean, clearly somebody in singing in the 1910s couldn't talk about a spaceship, or anything like that, or talk about riding a Tesla, or something. But you're singing about love and relationships. I mean, it's like boy, girl,
Mhm.
whatever. I mean, it's like how many ways can you say I love you, or what? But it's real interesting. I see how people do that. They say things a lot differently than I would have said them 30, 40 years ago. And so that's real interesting to me, how people can comment or sing or rap on a subject that's been around for
Mhm.
thousands of years and say it in a way that's never been said before. And as far as my songs being sampled, I mean, I love it because that's what keeps the music classic. You know, Songs like "Cause I Love You" that I did back in '78,
Mhm.
'75. That people who weren't even born are taking that music and they're sampling it,
Like.
and uh, and then because it's called the music business, and because I took care of business and I still retain my rights as a writer, and I retain my rights as a publisher, it affords me a good living. So when somebody goes out and they sample my music and the record sells, platinum or double platinum, like this Twister record right back there,
Mhm.
bam,
Yeah.
I'm getting checks. I'm running to the mailbox. I'm out there waiting on the mailman. Hey, come on. Yeah,
Like the stimulus checks we be waiting on.
right. Yeah, yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So, what can the fans expect from Mr. Lenny Williams in 2021 and in years to come?
Well, 2021, it's kind of like up in the air. I mean, I would like to say that they going to see me at a show near you, but we don't really know. So the last time I worked was in March of last year, so it's
Mhm.
almost a whole year now.
Yeah.
I don't want to be premature by jumping out there, too quick. But yeah, but definitely, just keep on making music and hopefully doing shows, and that's about it. Just keep on trying to be creative, and coming up with some new ideas, and making it happen.
Okay. So, what musical platforms can we go to find your music, your new music, and your albums, and so forth?
Yeah, we're on all the platforms. We're on Spotify, Amazon, Tidal,
Mhm.
you name it. iTunes. We're everywhere. So any musical platform that is selling music, or where you can preview music, that's we're there. If they come up with something tonight, we'll be on it tomorrow, you know. So, you know, we just you know, trying to be prudent about what we do, and just, be out there, you know, and be in the herd, so to speak.
Hmm.
And so definitely everywhere, and they can go to lennywilliams.com and reach me,
Hmm.
or I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram at Lenny, and just reach out to me. I check it 3 or 4 times a day, see what's happening, see who's trying to get in touch,
Okay.
and I answer. So you get an answer back, it's me. You're talking to me, and so definitely I'm available and accessible.
So you're basically the one that handles all your social media and all the.
Yeah, my wife helped me a little bit, any correspondence, it's me. But she's looking to make sure that I get everything, because sometimes I'll be like, oh, where's that? Oh, that's Messenger. Oh, I didn't know nothing about that. So she make sure that I know what's what, and know where to look. For when people trying to get in touch with me, for sure.
Okay. Okay. So can we go back to that question about your most memorable before we wrap things up?
Okay, I would probably say my most memorable show was probably, I got a phone call that Aretha Franklin wanted me to perform at a party for her.
Okay.
And so I get there, and it's an auditorium, like seats about 3,000 people, but she only had 150 people there. And it was her friends and her family. And so they had a big dinner and everything. And, at the back of the stage, we had the curtain back down, and behind the stage, they had, if you ever, if you, for people who've never been to a theater, behind the curtain, it goes deep, right? So they had tables set up there, and they had big meal, 5-course meal. Then they close that curtain, and everybody go out in this big auditorium, and they sit there, and you entertain them, right? So I did that. And then after the show, you want to get your money, and you think somebody gonna John, or whatever. You got to go to Miss Aretha. She opened up her purse and see you and talk to you and everything. So that was like just one of the highlights of my life there in Detroit. And the Motor City, all the Motown history there, and then to be with the Queen of Soul. She requested that I was there, and she also was the one that paid me my money. And matter of fact, she tried to pay me too much money. I said, "Oh no, it was only." She said, "Oh, you an honest man." She said, "Yeah." It would have been Aretha. I took that money too, but I said,
Well, that's definitely was memorable. I would remember that
she was gonna pay
too.
me about 3 times more than what I was supposed to get. She was pulling out them hundreds. And I said, my friend said, "Man, she probably liked you. Probably seen that big old nose and big lips and got excited." Yeah.
Okay, so can we hear like a tune from you, like sing the legendary,
Girl, I love you no matter what you do. And I hope you understand me. Every word I say is true. 'Cause I love you. Oh, 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 oh.
thank you so much.
All righty. I
Appreciate
appreciate
that.
you. Yes,
Um,
ma'am.
okay, so thank you for interviewing with Kentucky Good Vibes. Like I
All
said
right.
again, my name is DISHAYNA Perkins, better known as Shayna P. And if there is there anything else that you would like to add before we wrap things up?
Well, I'd just like everybody to know, all your listeners and your readers to know that I definitely appreciate their support over the years, buying the CDs, the records, calling up the radio stations and requesting the music, spending their hard-earned money, coming out to the shows. And I want them to know that I definitely appreciate it, and I don't take it for granted.
Okay, well, thank you once again, and I really appreciate the opportunity of being able to interview you.
Okay, my pleasure. The bluegrass, yes. Yeah.
Sir. Yes, sir. And I'll
Alrighty.
tell us before we wrap things up. So your new album's out. What is it
New
called?
album, it's called Fine, and you can find it on all platforms. Yeah, wherever you go. Yeah, yeah.
What was the inspiration behind that?
Well, I when I met Levi Caesar, and he said, "Let's do some writing together." So I go over to his studio to write, and so when we get there, he just breaks out this tape recorder. He says, "Can I interview you?" And I was like, "Yeah." So then he just interviewed me for like an hour and a half, and he said, "Hey, let's get together next week and we'll write." you know, and so I was a little disappointed because I went there with the purpose of writing, right? And I got interviewed. And so then the next week when I went over, he said, well, I listened to the interview, and he said, you've been married to the same woman for 42 years. All your kids are doing good. You know, you got a daughter that's a principal, a daughter that's a probation officer, a daughter that's a computer scientist, a son that's a you know, just going down the line. You got you own your own publishing, you're writing, and you got rental property and money in the bank. He said, you're doing fine. He said, let's write a song called Fine. And that's what we did. Yes.
Okay. Well,
And then we started out there writing a song Fine, and then just kept on writing songs.
okay. Well, keep up the great work. You've always made great music. You're one of the greatest in my book, and I really appreciate.
Well, I like your book. I like your book. Yes. I appreciate you too. Okay, DISHAYNA. Yes. And you're an excellent host and interviewer. I appreciate you. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right. God bless now. All right.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye now.